Welcome to Bristol Data Week 2024. I'm Christiane Ferney and I'm a Research Development Associate at the Jean Golding Institute. And today we're going to kick off Data Week with an introduction from our director, Dan Lawson. So, as I said, this is the kicking off the start of Bristol Data Week this year. We have a whole host of other events that are taking place, both online and in person. All the tickets are still available for these sessions. If you use this QR code, it will take you to our interactive schedule that shows you all the events that are taking place. And please do join us for as many events as you like. The more the merrier. And as part of Data Week this year, we are holding a public event in Bristol on Thursday, the 6th of June. And this is on AI and the future of society. This is at Bristol City Hall. And this is taking place between 10:15 and 7:30. So during the day, we've got a whole host of talks, interactive podcasts, recording sessions, interactive posters and things like that on AI and the future of society. And then in the evening from 5:30 to 7:30, we have a public lecture by Professor Genevieve Lively, which is on science fiction or science fact, how stories are shaped about the way we see AI. So it's going to prove to be a great day. So please do join us. The QR code here, you can access the ticket tailor page where you can book your free tickets to this event. And you can stay in touch with us in a whole host of ways. We have newsletters, we have our website, we've got Twitter, LinkedIn, all the usual channels. And this QR code here will take you to all the different channels of staying in contact with us. And this is a great way to kind of stay up to date with any other events that we hold. Bristol Data Week isn't just the only event that we hold all other kind of hosts of events. So please do stay in touch with us in various different ways. So that's the kind of boring housekeeping out the way. Next up is over to Dr. Dan Lawson, who's the director of the JGI, so the Jean Golding Institute, and he'll give you a kind of an introduction to us, the Jean Golding Institute, and to Bristol Data Week. So over to you, Dan.
Thank you very much. I will just share my slides. Okay, so thank you all so much for coming to this Data Week and to my introduction. So Data Week has been running for, I think, 8 years now. And every year we have a new theme. And so as Christiane has already just introduced, the theme this year is around AI and the future of society. So that is the theme for the event on Thursday. And hopefully I will give some motivation for why we think that's an important thing to be talking about now, later on. So I'll just start with an update to the JGI. So until last year, Kate Robson-Brown was the director, and well, she's irreplaceable, and I will do my best to act as a caretaker for data science at Bristol in her absence. Also, we've lost our previous manager, John Newby, but we are very fortunate to have the return of Patty Holly. Patty was manager before John, and she took a secondment to the Turing Institute. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us all at Bristol to re-engage with the Turing and make best use of the fact that she now is aware of all of the inner workings and what's important to the Turing, how to engage. And we're going to be taking some initiatives to best capitalize on that over the next months. So just to give an overview of what the Jean Golding Institute is. So the tagline is that we're a hub for data science and data-intensive research. We really do mean that in a very broad way. We're one of 5 University of Bristol research institutes, URIs, and all of these are trying to connect multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary experts across the university and beyond. And that's, of course, one of the main goals of Data Week. So we do this through a variety of things, including events and putting on training, helping people with funding, providing a Ask-JGI data service, a data science service, and connecting to the Alan Turing Institute. That's just some of the many things, and I'll go into much more detail about those later and how they can help you with your research. The fundamental goal of all of that is to enrich the digital and data theme across the University of Bristol, and I'll discuss that as well in a little more detail. So we're named after Jean Golding, of course, and Jean is a mathematician and epidemiologist, and she's most well known for founding the Children of the 90s Birth Cohort. This is the Avon longitudinal study of parents and children. This study has been very important for understanding of how parenting and early life works at a very detailed level. So just to give an example, one of the very early impacts of that study is on cot deaths, and that produced a change in recommendation for how infants should be placed in cots, reducing the number of deaths dramatically. That's just one of the many things that's done with the data. Now it's a genetics study and much more, and linked into a worldwide collaboration of cohorts. So this is very important work, and Jean still works at the university, and we have an event coming up to celebrate her birthday. It's her 85th birthday this year, and we're using that as an opportunity to celebrate her work and showcase the impact that it's had. And that's on the field of population health broadly, as well as the city of Bristol. It's had a dramatic impact there, and beyond, including into data science. So there's an event planned for Thursday, the 11th of September, and there's a QR code on the screen that you can use to go and check that out, but it'll be advertised all over our website after Data Week. Okay. So I wanted to just say a few words about the University of Bristol's strategy. So it might come as news to some people that the University of Bristol actually has quite a well thought through vision and strategy that is aiming to place it into the future up to 2030. And it of course covers many aspects, but the part that we're involved in is involved in research. And this is to keep the university as a world leader in research and innovation, and to have local, national, and global impact. And one of the tools that the university uses to achieve this is to focus their research and development. And that is where the URIs really come in. So we have these challenge areas that the university has recognized as places that we can make particularly important large-scale impacts on. One of these challenge areas is the creative and cultural industries. Another is equitable and sustainable health. A final one is net zero and climate change. And these challenge areas, they have some underpinning themes that don't just affect the areas themselves, but research across the entire university. And those include the social justice theme and the digital and data theme. So obviously the Jean Golding Institute finds itself in that digital and data box, and that's why we exist with that particular role. The university research institutes are trying to maintain these multidisciplinary communities, and one of the main goals of doing that is to maintain readiness in our research community for these grand challenges as they come out. So funding opportunities in these themes will be announced periodically, and these are very important at the national and international level. And so we as a university want to be ready to capitalize on that and be able to deliver really high quality research. And that's one of the goals. We do this through catalyzing new ideas, getting people talking, finding what are the interdisciplinary areas of opportunity. We can help with that by providing seed corn funding. I'll come back onto the methods that we have for that, to help people generate impact and engagement, and overall to raise the profile of the university. So that's the goal at the high level behind the URIs. Specifically, the JGI can help in at least these areas. So firstly, we can help provide data science support. And this is relatively new offering. So if you're a researcher and you want free data science support, we can provide that through the Ask-JGI help desk. This is linked at the top. It's very easily findable on the website. And you can get up to 8 hours of free support. And that's useful for lots and lots of different purposes. Also, you can cost data scientists into grants, as well as costing in research software engineers into grants. And this really allows you to amplify the data science component of research that otherwise wouldn't necessarily fit within a research group. We also provide training. I'll go into the coding courses that we offer, but we can also put on bespoke training and workshops. And we run events and networking like this one, as well as putting on seminars and discussions. So those are ongoing, and I'll go into what's our current offering there. We can help you also to publicize your own events if they're in the data science space, and to help you with networking. If you need to find a particular expert, we might be able to help with that. And of course, back to the all-important funding question, we have some seed corn funding available, and we can help with grant development. Okay, so now moving on to the motivation behind the topic that we're looking at, which is, of course, AI. Data is the underpinning of modern AI, the modern AI developments that have happened recently. These new and transformative technologies are only possible because we can now feed in absurd amounts of data, the entire internet, into an AI system, and that can then learn from structure in that data. And it's important to notice that there's a feedback loop here. So now these AIs, so you might know of ChatGPT and other similar chatbot style tools, these are now generating data themselves. So we're all using them for all sorts of tasks, and that data is then being left all over the web. And this causes a feedback loop where the AI systems are now seeing their own content. So this is one of the reasons that people are worried that the performance improvements we've been seeing recently are unlikely to continue into the future, because they've already seen all the data on the internet, and that what's being generated is now a mixture of their own content. So that's a danger, because they will start to get stuck in a feedback loop. But that's not the only type of use of this data. So it's a concern when you reuse the data, and any mistakes you make in that generation remain, and you use them like that. But if you're going to use the output of these tools in a more creative way, in a sort of tangential way, so then you can get real value out of that. So to give an example, a PhD student that I work with is looking at the web, and they can ask generative AI, well, what does this web page mean? Give me a very brief summary of it. That's a very useful tool. But also they can ask, well, of these collection of websites, what are the themes that emerge? What are the kind of clusters of websites that are out there? And this is a sort of way of labeling data that, well, it has a different sort of implication. And so it can be used in science in a way that is not obviously problematic. So we need to, of course, address lots of issues with that. So we've got this new important state of data and AI, and the University of Bristol is actually really well placed to start working on these sorts of problems. So just to give a scattering of the sort of activity that's going on around Bristol in data science and AI, we've got the Leap Health Hub. This is a new health hub spanning not just Bristol, but the whole of the southwest of England and Wales, and it's focusing on digital health, and they'll be holding an event as part of Data Week later. There's the Bristol Digital Futures Institute, BDFI. This is another URI closely aligned to the Jean Golding Institute. This is a £100 million investment, massive co-creation between academia and industry to examine digital technologies in a socio-technical context. It's very exciting activity and really driving new ways of gathering digital data and doing things with it. Bristol won 2 of 9 AI hubs in the latest round of funding. These are really large-scale endeavors that are very important and direct the conversation in AI. One of these is the collective intelligence, and that is hosted by engineering. The other is informed AI, which is hosted by mathematics. And so this really puts us in a good place to be discussing AI in the university. Another really important development is Isambard AI, which we'll be hearing of later in the week, if you can come to those events. So this is a £225 million AI supercomputer hosted in Bristol, accessible to the whole of the university ecosystem. And this is going to be one of the top 10 supercomputers worldwide by, well, the measure that they use to make this claim. And the important thing is it brings academia up to a level playing field in terms of compute with industry. And that's one of the biggest problems, is that current generation AI is owned and only available to industry, and that you can't reasonably do science on it and learn about whether it's working and how it can go wrong unless you can build one yourself. And Isambard AI really changes that equation for us. Then beyond that, there are centers for doctoral training, including the practice-oriented artificial intelligence, Pro-AI, CDT. And that's all on top of all of the business as usual that's going on inside the faculties. Just to mention a couple of places where that's strongly connected to JGI, we have the Intelligent Systems Lab in engineering, the Institute for Data Science in mathematics, and engineering, maths and technology more broadly, as well as inside all of the applied faculties. So this is a really powerful set of hubs that we are hosting here in Bristol. We're going to be able to have an impact on the conversation moving forwards. So why do we care about AI and the future of society? That's the topic of the panel discussion in the morning. Well, as we all know, AI is already strongly influencing our lives. And the short-term impacts of those are only just starting to be being felt. It's going to have ripples. But if we try to look a little bit further into the future, it's going to continue to have transformative changes. So, of course, one of those is around jobs. So there's much discussion as to whether we will lose our jobs to AI. And the overall consensus is that we probably won't lose jobs to an AI, but we might easily lose jobs to somebody who knows how to use AI. And so we, of course, want to remain at the forefront of that AI revolution. It will also change the knowledge landscape. So just like the pocket calculator did away for the need for us to be able to do long division, AI tools might do away for the need to have certain types of expertise in our brains, and we just ask the AI to do it. So for example, you might ask do I need still to learn how to code properly, or can I just ask AI to do it? I'm going to make the claim that, in fact, you do need to know that still. But maybe that won't be true in 10 years. We need to discuss that. Importantly, the changes that are being brought about, they are being made behind closed doors of industry, and it's not obvious how we can interact with that. So even though the changes might have bigger impact on our lives than even an election, there's one coming up in the UK, it's not clear which of these is the bigger impact on our lives over the next, say, 5 years. But we at least know how to impact the elections. We don't know how to impact AI decisions. So this is one of the things that we'll be discussing. So yeah, we want to know about how to engage in this conversation. We want to learn about the risks and the benefit, how to use AI for good, how to use AI for science. That's personally one of the biggest drivers for me. And it's easy to feel unempowered because of AI being so nebulous and intimidating as a concept, but it's actually a very new thing. So even the experts who know they're part of AI extremely well, they're not experts in the whole of AI, in the big, broad landscape of AI. And it's only by bringing those experts together and having discussions that we can, in fact, get this holistic picture of what's going on. And that's precisely what this event is trying to achieve. It's a timely time to talk about science in the age of AI, because the Royal Society has just released a new policy document updating its position on where AI fits in science. They noted several important points, some take-home messages, which I'm going to summarize here. So the first is that, well, high-quality data is foundational for AI. If you don't have data, you're going to miss out on its tools. So how to digitize whatever question you're asking is a vital component of using AI to achieve wonderful things in that realm. We face barriers as researchers, and those are related to things like the volume, the sensitivity of data, so not being able to share it, bias of the available data, and heterogeneity of the people that we want to gather data about and those that are available in studies. That's one topic. Another is the clear black box nature of AI, the fact that it's kind of generated by a company, and they may or may not be relatively open with the neural networks and things like that go in behind it. But at least because of the scale, simply, it's very difficult to engage with that. So this allows problems in reproducibility of AI. And what are we going to do about that? Isambard AI is part of that answer, of course. There is an interdisciplinary collaboration barrier, and that is basically to put experts who are using AI in touch with the people that know how it works and can make changes to how it works. And that collaboration is necessary to get the most out of it. And that, of course, is part of this week. Finally, they actually spoke relatively positively about generative AI tools, the ChatGPTs. They saying it can be used to assist in the advancement of scientific research. Of course, there's many caveats to that. And I would have personally put more emphasis on those caveats, because I think there's a lot of challenges involved in using this efficiently. But that's where the conversation is. How can we use it to make changes for good within our scientific ecosystem? And where do we need to put rules in that prevent misuse? So the next component I would like to talk about is the JGI's relationship with the National Data Science Institute, the Alan Turing Institute. So the Alan Turing Institute has a mission that is to make giant leaps in data science and artificial intelligence in order to change the world for the better. That's a goal that we can really get behind and very strongly aligns to what JGI wants to achieve too. And so within the University of Bristol, we have 8 Alan Turing Fellows currently. And we'll be hearing about the sort of things that these fellows have been doing later. And but yeah, we're really trying to encourage people to re-engage with the Alan Turing Institute. It's going through some changes recently, and so now is a wonderful time to see how we can work better with them. So one of the main activities that the ATI are really bringing forwards is the interest groups. So Anya Skotova, she's leading the Novel Data Linkages for Health and Wellbeing interest group. And this is about how we use digital footprint data that's just appearing as part of everyday life now. How does that get used for research, and how can we better and more efficiently use it? Also, Thomas Gorachowski, he leads the data-centric biological design and engineering interest group. And this is basically, how do we use AI for engineering, bioengineering? And this is a really important theme and both of these are very high profile nationally as conversations. And we at the JGI would like to encourage more engagement with the interest groups that are out there. Help you find interest groups that are really active, because many of them are not, but many of them are very healthy, like these. And also, there's an opportunity for us to start having smaller interest groups that are Bristol specific, and then linking them out into the Turing interest groups. So we're really would like to encourage you, if you've got ideas for interest groups that you'd like to start out small, we can help with that, as well as linking into the really big activities going on. I'd just like to give a summary of who JGI are right now. So you've heard, of course, from myself, and I mentioned Patty has returned as manager. I've put in large at the top here, Christiane. So Christiane introduced this session, and she is really the driving force behind Data Week running smoothly, getting on top of all of the organization. So she's absolutely critical to making sure this happens efficiently and smoothly. And if you're getting a good week, it's all thanks to Christiane and, of course, the wider team who are on this call and supporting us. The other thing to highlight from this slide is we have the data scientists. So I mentioned we have data science support. If you get data science support from JGI, it's going to come from one of these people or the Ask-JGI team of wider team of PhD students who help us. So yeah, we are here to help. Get in touch. So of course you've probably found the interactive schedule, and you should go and engage with it if you haven't. The things to highlight are what's coming up next. That's data visualization. That's here we are this morning, as well as the Python training that is running in blue. It's running in parallel all through the week. It's important to say these sessions, the workshops and the seminars, those will be recorded, and they'll be available on YouTube after if you do miss any. So do come back and take a look at those once they're ready. The other things today, we've got a session on science of mood music. That's really looking to be interesting. And I'd just like to highlight the long-term activities that we're doing. So these are events that run periodically, and they include the data ethics group tomorrow morning, the data hazards group Wednesday morning, and there's also, I think, the hidden AI event that is also a part of a podcast series. So there's lots of activity that's really exciting, and just check out what's of relevance to you. I'm going to use the rest of my time to focus on the activities that the JGI is involved in. So the goal of this is to see not just showcasing what we've done, but how does it relate to your own research? How could this help you? So the starting point for this is the Ask-JGI help desk. So this is a free data science help desk where you can get up to 8 hours of support for your research if it's eligible, which is most things at the university. And just to give some examples, we were approached with the problem of how to visualize ant disease dynamics. So there were some ants and they had been exposed to a pathogen, and we wanted to understand how to visualize the change in their behavior. So it was obvious from their behavior as a researcher looking at it that there was a change. But what are the ways to visualize the data about that change? And that was what we got involved in. Another is satellite revisit times. That's the second one. This is with geography. And we provided code to essentially add up all the times satellites came over a particular location and visualize that. The third example is in predicting protein expression. And this is a proof of concept for a grant. So here we were helping predict protein levels, expression levels from computer-generated proteins. So yeah, that's just 3 examples, but there's of course many more that we've handled over the time of Ask-JGI. Moving on to costed support, we have everything from very large grants, millions. That's the CARS project, where a data scientist was costed in at 60% for 3 years, and that's to help with the data set, the joining of 2 data sets. That's what the CARS initiative is for, connecting administrative data with across multiple databases to make it usable for research. The second very large project only involved a small amount of JGI time. This was a rare genetic syndromes where there was just a small amount of data science, 20% for a year, to do some natural language processing. And then on the smaller scale, but still the large scale for JGI, was the stroke warning system. This was a project where we were generating a data pipeline to gather NHS data and the governance to be able to move it onto the University of Bristol's systems so that it could be subjected to AI and large-scale compute that's just not available if it stays inside its hospital silo. And finally, as a sort of sprint, we had the UK HSA, Health Security Agency, had 100% of a data scientist for 3 months, and that was to perform a particular analysis, looking at counterfactual reasoning and that sort of thing. It's really interesting stuff, and there's a poster on it later. Okay, so the next component is training. So we run the kind of expected sorts of courses that you might do on how to do basic programming in Python or in R, doing data analysis, neural networks, scientific programming, all of that good stuff. Now, at the moment, this is being handled by the JGI because this is research software engineering's primary delivery training, but all of the people that were involved in the management of that have been seconded to go and implement Isambard AI. And so at the moment, there's a bit of a gap, and so we're just handling that as a stopgap measure until people are ready to take that back over. We've also designed some bespoke courses. This includes environmental data science and reproducibility and best practice, which is a very important topic for a data science institute. We obviously work with people around the university to do networking and events, and we organize our own events, data hazards workshops, data ethics reading groups, linked back to the events that you can take part in this week, as well as interest groups, data visualization, synthetic data, and more, and of course, Bristol Data Week. We can also help you publicize your event. This includes advertising for example, in our newsletter and via the Turing University network, if it's appropriate to push out to other universities. And many people come to us asking for help connecting them to expertise. So we can help signpost to experts who perhaps fulfill a knowledge gap, or for example, putting together a grant. We can help you with obtaining funding, either from grant development or seed corn projects. So, of course, if you're writing a grant that's going to have a heavy data science component, and that's not your own research area, then it's very helpful to talk to us to make sure that the bases are all ticked. We can help with costing advice, so we can cost in data scientists or just advise on what the costs should look like if you're doing it in-house. And we can help with things like experimental design, data ethics and governance, and of course, providing letters of support just to showcase what the data science landscape is in the University of Bristol. We can help with giving funding directly via the seed corn projects. This is the thing that's run annually by pretty much all of the URIs, and this allows you to pilot or refine methods or however you want to use it. So there's some examples on the slide of how people have used these studies as a pilot, for example. So that's one opportunity. But again, if the support that you need isn't funding, but is expertise, then there will be a parallel application process for the data scientist's time. So we've worked with all of the old labels of the faculties. So this is before the merger into 3 faculties. You can see that we've had applications from all of them, and we're keen to work with the underrepresented faculties here, where if you have a data science idea from those, please do get in touch. But yeah, we're interested in working with every faculty and across every faculty. To give an idea of the sort of expertise that's inside the team, I'm just going to give some highlights from the poster session that's coming up on Thursday. So this is sort of randomly chosen section of our research, and includes mapping air pollution using sensors attached to e-scooters. That's a data pipelining process, as well as life history from X-ray imaging teeth. That's an AI activity. There's unlocking the data for the stroke research, and that is again both an AI and a data pipelining activity, and the antimicrobial resistance one that I mentioned earlier, and counterfactual reasoning, statistics. So the 3 of these are in fact strongly AI in their focus, and 2 are strongly doing data pipelining. So that's the sort of thing that we can help even quite technical teams achieve more smoothly. I just wanted to use this opportunity to point to the data hazards program that was set up by Nina DeCara and the JGI, and this is a really important initiative. So it's a self-training that you can take by yourself. You just go to the website and go through their process, and the goal of it is to use these data hazard labels to make your algorithms safer to use, essentially highlighting reasons that people should be cautious when they're using your work so they don't misuse it. So to give an example, many AI systems ingest data and then spit out predictions based on the data they've seen. So that typically involves a risk that you will reinforce whatever existing biases are in that data. So you would use this label and you would say what the biases in that data might have been that will help people to understand the risk. Many tools are going to be difficult to understand, so that there's a kind of explainable AI push, and if your work isn't easily explainable, then you would perhaps use this label that it's difficult to know why a particular thing has been predicted. Well, then maybe that's not going to be suitable for some uses, so people want to know that in advance. The final label I'm highlighting is the high environmental impact label. That is where, particularly these modern generations of AI tools, they're really, really costly to run. And so people might need to make a choice between, getting whatever the benefit that they give over traditional and simpler, cheaper tools versus the costs. So by highlighting that cost, you can really reduce the environmental impact that AI tools are having. So JGI every year supports the International Women's Day, and this year we showcased Anya, Joan, Dandan, and Zara's journey through data science. So these are really candid career histories. These are highlighting the sort of challenges and opportunities that being a data scientist and being female has, and the life lessons that were learned. So it was really revealing for me as a just part of the audience to that session to be able to see what barriers that they had faced, and we really appreciated the connections that some of which I had as a barrier and many of which I didn't face. So this was really helpful. This was a talk that will be on YouTube when the rest of the JGI Data Week goes up. We also have the some new announcements. So two of our Turing Fellows were involved in a 1.8 million smart data research initiative that was funded. Anya and Emmanuel, congratulations to them. So this is scientific research being a part of smart data. It's a really important topic, and there's a news article on our blog. I wanted to highlight another JGI SeedCorn winners talk. This is fetal alcohol spectrum disorder and making a national linked database for it. It's selected to be highlighted by the ONS, and that's coming up on Thursday, the 13th of June. If this is in your ballpark, go and check it out. I also wanted to highlight the PeaceTech website. So if you're involved in an area of research that could be tangentially or directly related to PeaceTech, then get involved. Get talking to Hen Wilkinson, who's the research fellow that's really led this. And she's set up this knowledge exchange hub where people can discuss across disciplines how to best interact with PeaceTech. We've also been involved in some work with the UK Committee for Research Integrity on mapping retractions. That's really exciting. That's work by Leo Gorman. And rather than going through this now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say there's going to be a statement coming out from UK Cori, so you can go and check out what we found about the state of retractions and what they tell us about state of UK and science and worldwide science, and that's coming out hopefully within a month. We're really pleased to welcome John Olukuru from Strathmore University. We have a strategic partnership with Strathmore that has been running now for several years, and they've been involved in many of our activities, including Data Week and Women's Day. So yeah, he'll be here on Thursday, and you'll have the chance to meet with him if you're in Bristol. And just to wrap up, we've got all of these ongoing activities: the data visualization, data ethics, data hazards, as well as training and improving the standards of data science. So the initiative there is our JGI handbook. This is an online resource that will be growing in a live fashion. And if you're a data scientist who doesn't have direct advice on good practice for your data science, this is a good place to start, as is talking to our data scientist community. And that's everything. It just remains to say thank you very much for your attention, and yeah, keep in touch with us.
Thanks so much, Dan. We are a little short on time, so I hope if anyone has any questions, we probably have time to answer one. But if you do, please do put them in the chat. Doesn't look like, well, it's very convenient. Obviously, Dan answered everybody's questions. Thank you so much for joining us for this introduction to Data Week. As we've both said, there's a whole host of exciting activities happening. We really hope you can join us for some of the other things that are going on this week. Please do stay in touch. So that QR code, which I can share again with you now, and it has all the ways that you can stay in touch with us. And please do give some feedback on this event. So we hold this event every year and hope to get the event gets better and better every year. And we can only do that really with the help of your feedback. So a link will be popped in the chat now of the feedback forms. It should only take a couple of minutes. Thank you so much again for joining us, and hopefully see you at some point in the rest of the week.